Good evening, Revheads and folks. We're gonna sit here for a couple minutes. I'm gonna double check the sound, make sure the audio is working well here. Give people a minute to get in. When you do come in, go ahead and type your questions in the comments section. When I see them, I will do my best to answer them. If they don't come up, we'll do other things. Like if I don't get questions from you, I'll answer my own questions, I guess. It has been a fair bit of time since we've been together for Ask Mike Anything. Lots of things have happened, so go ahead, ask questions, put them in the comments, and while you're doing that, I'll start pulling out some questions from my question decks, and we can start there. But go ahead, type those in the comments. It doesn't matter if you're on Facebook or YouTube; I'll be able to see them. But I can't respond via text. So let's see. Oh, all right, that'll be a good one. All right, no questions yet. All right, so we'll go with this first one. It's from the Would You Rather deck. And the question is this: would you rather a monitor that you have to wear a monitor that beeps when you're lying or beeps when you're attracted to someone? That could be difficult either way. I don't feel like I lie a whole lot. So like, I don't think that would beep much. But at the same time, I wonder if like somebody hearing that beep and knowing it means, hey, you're a good looking human being, you know, it might not give somebody a boost, or I don't know. Anyway, if I had to, if it was like this or that, it would probably be the beeps when you're lying. Yeah. So, all right. I see we got a few of you watching. Go ahead, type in those questions. Or we'll keep going through the decks and we'll get to that journal. And, you know, some things change, some don't. One of the things that hasn't changed currently is Michaela is stalking me right outside the door, listening to what's going on. So that'll be fun. All right, we do have a couple questions in. Appreciate that. Robert, that's a good question. And really, I just have to get a hold of Dan, and we got to start those back up. The issue has primarily been just very, very busy, and I have, in addition to everything else going on, I start classes again next month, and so. Yeah, I have a missions class and an ethics class this semester. So we'll see. We'll have to figure out and schedule that out, but hopefully soon. Excuse me. I miss chatting with Dan and talking about stuff. My dad asked, "What's in your cup?" What is in my cup? This is a Kentucky Mule. That is bourbon, ginger ale, and lime. So. Thanks for asking. Let's see, Clarky. So all right. So my dad, long time ago, was in a movie called The Godfather of Green Bay. and and it wasn't widely released, but he was in it, and yeah. Why is he not in Hollywood? Because there isn't really that big a call for people who can get uh, hit by a rifle in the woods while they're pooping, uh, or doing the Macarena. Um, yeah, so that's why. If there was a bigger call for that, do that. Tell us about assignment. If you could pick where to preach, where would it be? Uh, Assuming you love your current. My current appointment. I love my current appointment. I love the people in the congregations of St. Matthew's and Cherry Hill a whole heck of a lot. They are amazing people, and I love doing ministry and doing life with them. Even though this last year it's been really different. If I could pick anywhere, like anywhere in the world, or do you want like anywhere in Michigan? For me, when it comes to the bishop's going to call and send us someplace, for me a big draw is like a lake. Like if we could be on a lake, that's usually good. But short of that, I'm called to pastor where I'm called to pastor, and that's what I'm going to do. So really not much of a preference any place. But I do like Ipsy. Like where I like to live. I like to live in places that are very diverse, and uh, and just open and fun kind of places. So let's see. What's your biggest theological question? What was your biggest theological question growing up, and what is it today? Ooh. Growing up, it would have been the wonderful theodicy question of essentially why do bad things happen to good people. There's in classical theism, where God is all powerful, all knowing, all loving, everywhere present, all of these things, where God is all of these things. What theodicy is this idea that God cannot be both all powerful and all good because suffering exists. Because either God isn't all powerful because God can't get rid of human suffering, or God isn't all good because God doesn't get rid of human suffering. And again, that is very much a problem with classical theism, which is not the model for God to which I ascribe these days. And that's one of those questions that you really can't answer, or at least not well. Biggest theological question today. Oh man, I don't know if it's a theological question as much as it is an ecclesial one, an ecumenical one, a community kind of question about how we find our way, how we move towards unity of purpose, unity of community. There's just so much out there these days that screams of division, and I don't tend to think of God as down with the whole whole division thing when it comes to humanity. Granted, I know we have some pretty big scripture passages like Matthew 25 where there is definite division, but I think that's teaching something more than that God's going to separate the sheep and the goats. All right, Clarky. All right, so Clarky wants to know, did Jesus go to hell between his death and resurrection? The Gospels really don't speak to that. Here, let me put that back up. And what we in our common nomenclature, in our common collective thought, when we start talking about heaven and hell, we're talking about the good place and the bad place. We're talking about eternal destination after we die. But that really wasn't Jesus' riff. Jesus talked a lot about the here and now. When Jesus talked about the kingdom of heaven, Jesus talked about a lot of agricultural kind of references, a lot of things people in that day would have known, would have understood. And same thing when we're talking about hell. The vast majority of the time, those references in the Gospels, we're talking about Gehenna, which is a real place, a real valley you can really drive past today, that in Jesus' time and for a long time was the garbage dump, where garbage was burned, where the fires were constant, where and even ancient times from there, human sacrifices were done. So, did Jesus go to hell? I don't think in the way we think now. The typical understanding for ancient Hebrews for death was the ground. You just went into the ground. Later, you get some development of Hades, of this place of the dead, and it's neither really it's not really anything. And there's this idea of Christ opening that up. But there's a lot to sort through to get there. So, do you think social media has made our lives better, or has it taken us down a dark road? Yes. In a lot of ways, it has made things better, but it has also taken us down a dark road. And that's anything. That's any technology that we create. Any advancements we make can tend to be used for dark purposes. And so yeah, we don't. I don't think we get to pick and choose on that one and say yes, it's great, or no, it's not. It's both. So. It has made it so it's difficult to talk to each other. Difficult to do anything but try and win your argument. And we talked about this a bit on Fun with Faith this morning. We want to win the argument. We don't want to gain understanding, especially on the internet. I always feel like, and I may have mentioned this before, but when I just snoozed one of my relatives on Facebook for 30 days. Because what happens is they post something, and they've started posting a lot more in the last week or so. And if I want to have a conversation with that person, I always feel like I have to go back and maybe some of you felt like this. You feel like you got to take people back to school. You feel like you have to go. I have to walk people through 20 years of of thought and research, consideration, meditation, practice, seeing these things play. I'm going to have to write a frickin' dissertation if I have a prayer of getting through to them or them understanding. And you can do that. You can write out the big long post trying to do that, and they're going to pick up on the fact that I spelt capital with an A instead of an O. Or it's going to be just thrown out. They're going to go a different route. They're going to do anything they can to not engage with what you have spent the time. And it's just frustrating. It's frustrating. And there are times when it comes, even when you are face to face, that gets to be difficult because people just want to win the argument. They don't want to understand it. At what age did I accept Christ? What's the story? There are a couple stories, Clarky, my boy. I have a vague memory of when I was 10 or 12. There was a guy named Randy who would play guitar on the street corner in Menominee at like 10th and 13th there. I remember seeing him. And he'd talk about Jesus. And I remember running into him down at the marina one summer, and him praying with me. It didn't really click for me, right? I didn't quite comprehend all that was going on. But then when I was 17, I was 16, 17, we moved from Michigan to Wisconsin, right across the river. I missed my friends, so I started going to the teen center. There were missionaries running that who loved on me, eventually shared Jesus with me. It clicked. And I went to Bible college. There's more actually. So I know I'm one of those folks, like I know when it clicked. I can pin down the date and time, August 27th, 1997, right around 7:00 at night, River Road in Menominee, River Road, roughly. And I pulled over on the side of the road, did the whole down on my knees in the ditch kind of deal. But a couple of years ago, we took the girls back to Menominee for see my dad, some other things, and we're driving, and I told Braylee and Michaela, hey, I'm going to take you guys to show you where I met Jesus. And so we get to, it's just this spot of road, right? So we get there, and I flip around on the road, and I park right about where I parked. And Braylee was really upset because she thought for sure Jesus was going to be there, right? We're going to where I met Jesus. This is where Jesus is going to be. Yeah, she didn't quite get that. So, but I like that I having that piece of the story these days. All right. If you were given one wish for 2021, what would it be? Oh, peace. I mean, world peace would always be my number one deal. If that's too lofty, I would go. Probably go just no more pandemics ever. That may be even loftier than world peace. Would you consider having Andy Song on as a guest? Of course I would. I love Andy. I will check his schedule. It should be easy enough to do if he's got time open. I don't know what his Mondays are like though. Robert says, if a member of your congregation won the lottery, gave you enough money for a brand new church or missionary work for 20 years, or as much staff as you wanted for 10 years, what would you choose? You can only do one and can't split the gift up. That's how those gifts come in, right? You can't use it for anything but one thing. It would not be a brand new church building. And this is with the stipulation on this gift that the pastor has to decide, right? If the stipulation is that the pastor has to decide, it's not going to be a brand new church building. It's not going to be as much staff as I want for 10 years. Depending on what you mean by missionary work for 20 years, if you're talking about using it to better the community, to work with other organizations to elevate the poor, the disenfranchised, then yeah, missionary work for sure. For me, when I look around at places that are doing really good work, and I'm not saying the congregations aren't doing good work, but if there is a large lump sum of money that I have to stick one place and try to do the maximum amount of good with that money, I'm not going to plunk it in the church's general fund necessarily. I would look more towards like in Ypsilanti, the Hope Clinic. They are doing, and that is a faith-based, non-denominational. Lots of churches help make that run kind of a place. But when I look at the work that they're doing there, medical, dental, food, people can go and do their laundry, just all the things that they're doing that no single congregation could conceivably do on its own. It's amazing. Now, if you're going to tell me I could use that money to start that kind of ministry out of a church building or something, that might fly too. I might go that route. But that's a great question. But yeah, not new church buildings. No. Has the United Methodist Church as a whole taken an official position on recent events in our country, or at least had any words or advice for the pastors? I don't know about the United Methodist Church on the global level. I know our bishop, Bishop David Bard, has put out a few pieces. By and large, the stance of the United Methodist Church is one of peace and nonviolence. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about what happened in DC on the 6th, or if we're talking about the riots after George Floyd was murdered. The United Methodist Church's stance is going to be the same. We don't condone violence by any party on any side. Violence begets violence. So that would be the official general church stance. But yes, our bishop has spoken out a few times on it, or at least I've gotten the email a couple times. Without naming names, what's the most genuinely altruistic acts you've ever seen? Ooh. Wow. I may have to come back to this one, Pops. Most genuinely altruistic act. I suppose it doesn't have to be big. I mean, so last night, yeah, it doesn't have to be big. Altruism, for genuine altruism, genuine altruism doesn't have to be a huge thing. It just has to be for the good of another. And I had a friend well, actually, the wife of a friend, and she's my friend too. Anyway, a friend posted last night about doing bedtime with their son, who's right around Braylee's age, and he wanted. He asked his mom if he could give away his favorite stuffed animal, the one he carries everywhere, the one he sleeps with every night, like his uh, his teddy bear. And she said, "Well, why would you want to do that?" And he said, uh, "Because there might be kids out there that there might be a kid out there that doesn't have a teddy to keep them safe, to make them feel safe, and I want them to feel safe." That to me is very much some genuine altruism. A kid that age thinking about other people and their fear and being willing to give up their protection against that fear is amazing. And the parents' response was, "No, we'll." That's a great heart. We're going to encourage that. We'll take you out shopping. You can buy a few. We'll give them away. But just that heart's really nice. Favorite family tradition. Busting your chops. That's kind of fun. Very traditional. With my immediate family here, grandma and the kids and Bree, I like it. I like it when we can sit down at the dinner table together. I like it when we can do a trip together. Hasn't happened in a while, but that's usually a good thing. I really liked, when I was a kid, I liked getting together with family for the holidays. That was always good. Hasn't happened in coming up on 2 decades, but so I don't know that I could call that really tradition anymore, but it used to be. All right, you guys keep typing in your. Oh, here we go. Robert says, you and Bree recorded your sermons on different days. How hard was it to incorporate the events of the 6th into your sermon? How much different would your message have been if you were in person or had more time? I'm sure Bree's would have been a lot different. Bree recorded Wednesday night, and so there was no time for her to do much more than what she did. And I had the startings of my sermon on Wednesday, and it did change a little bit. I don't know that it would have changed all that much, especially when we're doing a Faith at the Movie series, especially this year. Part of it, for me, is injecting at the beginning of the year intentional whimsy, an intentionally lighter set of sermons, so that we can kind of breathe a little bit, especially coming off of a year like 2020, being able to have some fun in the midst of that is very important, I think. So had it happened on Monday, and we had that whole, I don't know that it would have changed much more. And in person, it wouldn't. I don't know that the sermon would have changed much. Prayer time would have probably been a little different. I would have probably done more of encouraging people to pray in the midst of the service than, praying through a song. We'd have probably done that too, but would have been encouraging people to pray. But there have been times, Robert, when something happens Saturday night and we're switching things up for Sunday morning. Pre-recorded does make that different. So yeah. But we change when the Spirit says change. All right. Mary Stevens asked, "What was it like growing up with my dad as my dad?" Horrifying. No. It wasn't bad. He spent a lot of time third shift out of town, and that made some things difficult. But there's also a lot of laughter. I remember that the most. There are times when I'm laughing with my kids that I very much hear my dad in my laugh. And that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice because like we don't get to see each other all that much. And when we do like talk on the phone and we get a laugh, it's not the same. But to hear my dad's laugh and my laugh is a lot of fun. So I mean, it was definitely a simpler time, or at least one that seemed simpler than now. By the way, Dad, Michaela and I put the radio together today, the radio kit that you got her for Christmas. So far, we've been able to listen to static. We haven't been able to find any stations yet, but I think we're gonna probably take it apart and do it again to see if we missed something. So, but it was good growing up with my dad. He's a good dude. Chris wants to know what was my favorite Christmas gift this year, both received and one you saw given. Let's see. Michaela got me an orange t-shirt with white lettering that says "World's Okayest Dad." I kind of like that a whole lot. Bree knits me stockings, and I think she did like 5 or 6 this year. Christmas stockings that have different themes to them. I love those. My mom got us a few nights at an Airbnb to just be able to get away and have different walls to look at for a while. Those were all great, and all ranked up there with favorites that I've received. Favorite one I gave this year was first sticking to the budget for Bree's Christmas gift. Was a gift to her. She hates it when we set a budget for Christmas, and I always go outside it. But I didn't do that this year, and of the things I got her, my favorite is a little stone kind of icon of Saint Julian of Norwich, who is the patron saint of cats. And her big quote is, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." Just this mantra of it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So that's something she can hang on a wall or sit on a desk in her office. It's also one of Bree's favorite saints. So yeah. And I haven't seen her use it yet, but I got her essentially a water paint board where you just paint on it in water and it evaporates, right? So if you make a mistake, it's going to go away, and you just get that meditative kind of thing to it. I really like that. So yeah. All right. Keep typing in your questions. I'm going to go to a card while you're doing that. What strange thing would you like to happen at your funeral to make people laugh? Probably have the recessional be the full version of Chumbawamba's tub thumping. That's I get knocked down, but I get up again. Yeah, that would be it. All right. Any other questions out there? Hit me up. Or don't. I mean, I can dig into another deck here. All right, let's see. We got a couple coming in here. Chris wants to know if I have seen or heard of more couples postponing nuptials. Some have. Some have chosen to wait. I think we've seen more deciding to do the smaller ceremony and maybe later on after things have blown over, do a bigger party kind of thing. But that's really about it. And it's hard to gauge because weddings for me tend to come in spurts anyway. So I don't know. Sarah missed my what's in the cup. Well, somebody asked earlier. It's this cup is always going to be Kentucky Mule. It's bourbon, lime, and ginger beer or ginger ale. Verner's, of course. What is the most misunderstood reading in the Bible? I'm going to tell you, it is the Bible itself. There are so many people, and I was one for a very long time that thought that this was some type of manual, some type of blueprint, instructions, you name it, that kind of thing. There's even people get a kick out of making an acrostic out of Bible, calling it basic instructions before leaving Earth. And that's not at all what it is. People misunderstand what it is. And what it is a collection of 66 different writings, primarily from the Jewish people. And it's writings about their journey with God. It's not God necessarily giving instructions. Sure, when we get into Exodus and we have instructions for building the tabernacle and those pieces, and we get into the Levitical law, there are those pieces. But that's still part of them telling their story. It is telling a story. It is very similar, this book. While we ascribe sacredness to it, while that is a sacred text for us, it is very much in keeping with this book. which is not about Bigfoot. That just happens to be the sticker on the cover. This is my journal, one of my journals that I've written in over the years. And I write about all sorts of things, but but primarily I write about my experiences in life, my experiences with God, um, uh, what I'm thinking, how I'm perceiving, um, where I think God is leading, and when. And I'm not saying my journal is scripture, not by any stretch of the imagination. What I am saying is people wrote down thoughts, people wrote down stories, people wrote down um, explanations why they thought things happened the way they did. But so many people approach it as an encyclopedia, as stereo instructions, as a textbook. Um, and when you do that, you miss a lot. And you can take just and twist so much. But if you look at it like you're reading the diary of a people who are trying to make their way in the world and figure out things in the world, you are gonna it is gonna blow your mind hole because it is so it is it then it becomes something more, something bigger than just a set of instructions to read. It becomes a story, and it becomes a story that you're a part of because it's a story that's still going on. So yeah, so most misunderstood reading in the Bible is the Bible. But also there's I can't remember off the top of my head what psalm it is, but there's a psalm that talks about people rejoicing when babies are smashed on rocks. I think that's misunderstood too. But anyway, what different country would you like to visit and why? Spin the globe, point a finger. I want to visit. I love being places. I love experiencing different cultures. I would love to see India. I would love to see Japan or China. Um, if I were able, if I could buy a ticket and go somewhere right now, though, I'm telling you, hands down, flat out, no question, it's going to be Egypt. I know I've been there before. I wasn't there long enough. I want to be there longer. It is a beautiful country full of beautiful people. And I have some Bedouin friends that I would love. Like if I could go to South Sinai, hang out at St. Catherine's for a month, that that would be close to heaven on earth for me. And maybe take the kids for a little bit, I guess. But Michaela's over there looking at me like, you wouldn't take me? Yeah, I'd take you. All right. Oh, Donna, thank you. I I mean, that could be the bourbon a little bit, the contentedness, but I miss you guys too. I think about you often. I really do, and hopefully we'll get to see each other again soon. Because it's been a while since I've been to Tawas, and I need to get up there. Does Egypt have a mystery spot like the one in St. Ignace? Maybe. I don't know. You know what's really cool? The monastery in St. Catherine at the foot of Mount Sinai. This may be mystery for you. Side by side inside the monastery is a Christian church and a mosque. And it may seem mysterious, but it is one of those very beautiful things that you tend to not see enough of in the world. They coexist side by side in peace. So, in the pyramids, they're pretty mysterious. until they tell you how it was done, and then it's like, oh, of course. So, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. you'll have to go and take the tour, or find a documentary. Michaela, come say hi. She's inching closer and closer and closer.
Hi.
Hey, how did you guys get over here? How did you guys like Michaela in the service on Sunday as one of the nuns? That was pretty good. I heard from people today they liked you in Mommy's Bavarian dress too when you read the scripture. This week is Greece. Who should she be in Greece? Should she be Sandra D? Or should she be Rizzo? I'm thinking Rizzo. All right. With Fat Tuesday coming up, any good places around here for traditional poochki? Dom's. I'm pretty sure Dom's does them. Pretty much anything baked you want, Sarah, you go to Dom's. Don't do Dunkin'. Don't do Timmy Ho-Ho's. Dom's Bakery is the place. If you have not gone to Dom's yet, you need to go. Oh, look at that. People love you, Michaela. Oh, I love her too. You cannot have her. So I would love some feedback from you guys with Ash Wednesday coming up. There's no conceivable way we're doing a service, like an indoor in-person kind of service. But what do we think about like drive-by ashes? If I wear gloves or I don't know. Hit me up with your thoughts on that. I'd appreciate that. Oh, Sarah, you haven't been to Dom's yet. You haven't lived. Your family will thank you and thank me. Go there, get a dozen donuts. Don't worry about the poochkies yet, but go and get a dozen donuts. And they will love you. And they're going to love you so much, you're going to want to just buy 2 dozen while you're there and drop one off on my porch for being nice enough to give you that hint. And then my family will love me too. Oh, I need to go to Dom's. I wonder if they're still open 24 hours during the pandemic. I should check. Oh, all right. Keep typing questions. We got a few minutes left here. If you had a personal mascot, what would it be? If I had a personal mascot, I would like it to be R2-D2. Because he can say all the things I want to say sometimes and nobody knows.
I thought it was going to be Groot. You can swear and no one can notice.
Yeah. All right. Donna says, thanks for answering. I enjoy your service. And this also. That's wonderful. Oh, thank you. Yeah. And our services, that's a cool, that is really the cool thing about, one of the cool things about this time and being online like we are, is, we had Anna Smith, who I'd never met before, still haven't met, just interacted with online in our service this week singing. And we can do a lot of things that are harder to do in person, and we can check out each other's services and be blessed in that way. And I promise you folks, I'm pretty sure this week's service around Greece is going to be fire. It's going to be awesome. So I've heard stories of people planning cross temp tattoo looking ashes. Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I should look into that. I bet they have that. I bet I can find, excuse me, a place online that'll have temporary tattoos of ashes and crosses. People can. I like that. I like that. We'll have to look into it. How do you sync up the singers with Andy's music? So I have a fairly decent video editing software that works really well. But what has to happen is now that we have Deb McCaffrey, who's willing to sing and understands the technology, I have to make sure we have to try and get Andy to record the music early in the week. So it gets uploaded to, we have a shared Google Drive. I tell Deb which songs they are. She downloads those music files. She listens like through her phone and records through her computer or however she does that with headphones on. So she's actually listening to Andy play and she sings to it. And then she uploads just her vocals. And I take them and I put them together and I match them up. It's it can be tedious sometimes. Especially we found out that like I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know it was a thing, but when Andy was playing and it was just, we didn't have a singer singing along with it. It was just people in their homes. He was playing it a little differently so that it wouldn't necessarily be easier to sing with, right? So now he's playing as he's recording stuff for like this week and last week he was recording it so that it's easier to sing along with, easier for Deb to do, and then easier for me to sync up. So, but yeah, it's lining up the videos and getting the overlays in place and just listening very closely. Yeah, Donna, I'll send you a private message on Facebook with those addresses if you want to do that. I appreciate that. I know the congregations do as well. It's one of those things where the vaccine is on its way. It's going to be here. We're going to start looking at moving into in-person stuff, hopefully by midsummer. I'm not setting any dates. I'm not rushing anything. We want to be careful, but it's gonna take some work and lots of support from lots of places. All right, go ahead and keep asking questions. I am going to read from my journal. And Michaela, you came here for the perfect part.
Yes.
So this is my journal that I started when I was 10 years old, 10 years old. Had to do it because I got in trouble at school, and this was my dad's form of punishment. I was supposed to write in it every day until I turned 18. That did not happen, though I do still write in my journal. But this is where I became obsessed with the letter of the law of writing every day, and not so much actually writing anything substantive. So November 22nd, 1989, I was a bad boy. November 23rd, 1989, I saw my Uncle Mark. November 24th, 1989, I got a bad report. November 25th, 1989, I was picking on Rob. November 26th, 1989, I was picking on Rob again. November 27th, 1989, I was bored. November 28th, 1989, I was a good boy. November 29th, 1989, I was having fun. November 30th, 1989, I was bored. December 1st, 1989, it's the first day of December. It's a bit of a wise ass. December 2nd, 1989, I was sick. December 3rd, 1989, I served at Mass. December 4th, 1989, I was sick. P.S. I still am. December 5th, 1989, I felt sick. December 6th, 1989, I was feeling better. December 7th, 1989, I got a measles shot. P.S. It hurts. P.S.S. It still does. P.S.S.S. I feel sick again. December 8th, 1989, I was bored as usual. December 9th, 1989, I went to sleep at JR's. I wanted to sleep at JR's, but I couldn't. December 10th, 1989, I fell in love with Kylie Neverson. I remember Kylie Neverson. I didn't remember that I fell in love with her. All right. And I completely scratched out December 11th, 1989. December 12th, 1989, I was bored. December 13th, it was the first big snowfall. December 14th, I was walking up a snow hill and fell. And this is one where I wrote fell as feel and then went back and wrote it as F-E-L. And then finally in 7th grade, I got it right. F-E-L-L. I got it right on October 6th, 1992. I went back and fixed that. December 15th, I was bored. December 16th, I was bored. December 17th, I was bored. December 18th, I was bored. December 19th, I was bored. December 20th, I was bored. December 21st, I was bored. December 22nd, I was bored. December 23rd, I was bored. December 24th, it's Christmas Eve. December 25th, I was bored. December 26th, I was bored. 27th, I was bored. 28th, I was bored. 29th, I was bored. 30th, it was new. Apparently, December 30th, 1989, I thought it was New Year's Eve. December 31st, I was bored. January 1, 1990, I was bored. January 2nd, 1990, I was bored. 3rd of January, I was bored. 4th, I was bored. 5th, I was bored. 6th, I was bored. 7th, I was bored. 8th, I was bored. 9th, I was bored. 10th, I was bored. 11th, I found out I hate myself. That was a very important day. January 12th, 1990, I was bored. What day is it today? The 11th. All right, we're a little past it. All right, one more page. January 13th, I was bored. 14th, I was bored. 15th, I was bored. 16th, I was bored. 17th, I was bored. 18th, I was bored. 19th, I was bored. 20th, I was bored. 21st, I was bored. There we go. 22nd, I was bored. 23rd, I started to like green beans. At 123.90, I started to like green beans. 123.5.90, I hate green beans. December 24th, I was bored. January 24th, I was bored. 25th, I was bored. 26th, I was bored. 27th, I had a messy room. 28th, I cleaned my room. 29th, I got a headache. 30th, I was bored. 31st, I got a headache. We'll finish up the I was bored here. February 1st, I was bored. February 2nd, I got a headache. February 3rd, I was in a model contest that was like model cars, not like, look at me, I'm pretty. And February 4th, I did not go to church.
How dare you?
And then we get, then I don't write anything until November, but then it gets longer. So we'll hit on that next time. Yeah, so letter of the law. I wrote every day. I just didn't write anything substantive every day. Michaela, do you play any instruments?
I play the ukulele.
She plays the ukulele a little bit. Yep. I do. I play the guitar. I play the ukulele, and I can play a little bit of like a hand drum djembe thing.
You know what else I can play? I can play an instrument. Well, technically, I can play music off of Apple Music.
Oh, there you go. Grandpa wants to know, Michaela, how silly is your dad?
On a scale from 1 to 10, 8 or 9.
Really?
10.
All right. Any other questions? You can go ahead and post them. We got a minute left, maybe. That's Brayley.
In my soft pajamas.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys don't know this. You probably can't tell from there, but these are really super soft.
It's mine now.
Like, she came up and gave me a hug earlier, and the softness of those pajamas almost put me to sleep.
Oh.
I don't know how she's like. Are they that soft on the inside? Oh my gosh, they are. All right.
How are you not asleep?
I would be asleep. If I had pajamas that soft, I would put them on and be asleep. Yeah. Oh, Braley, do you have a joke? Grandpa wants to know if you have a joke.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
I don't know, Braley. Why did the chicken cross the road?
To poop.
That is the punchline to any Braley joke.
Except for this one.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Banana. Knock, knock.
Thanks for starting that, Pops. All right, folks. It is 8 o'clock. It is their bedtime.
No.
Oh, my cousin Mandy says it's the best joke ever. I don't know if she meant the banana one or the poop one. All right. So I will be back next Monday at 7. Maybe with Andy. I'll see if Andy wants to come on and
Maybe with me too.
probably not. You need to sleep.
You know I will be staking out.
And so yeah. This week Sunday we are our service theme for Faith at the Movies. Please stop now, girls. Is Grease. So watch that movie this week. Join us on Sunday. Break out your pink lady coats or your leather jackets and send in some pictures if you want. We're going to have some fun. I know Andy is working on some special music for that. So please join us as we have some worship together and enjoy Grease. Tomorrow, Fun with Faith will be on, but it is a pre-recorded one because Pastor Bree and I have a Zoom retreat, I guess is the best way to put it, with the bishop and other clergy from around Michigan. So we appreciate your prayers tomorrow as we look for some spiritual renewal in that format. And then we'll be back Wednesday live for Fun with Faith at 10 a.m. And yeah, it'd be great to talk to you all again.
Bye.
Bye.
Wait
Take
till
care.
Friday.
Have a great night, and keep the questions coming. You can inbox me, direct message me those questions, and we'll have them for next time too. Peace.